This is Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. That's the name I have to use. My last name's Childers. I married Childers. And as far as I know, he's deceased. I don't really know. Uh, my real name's Margaret Ann Windsor, which I put on prior videos and Facebook, etc. And I found out in 83, my real name. I was kidnapped and brought over to Moulton, Alabama in 1941 and given the name of a dead twin. Both twins were dead. They'd been killed by their mother. They were born out of wedlock. So later I wrote a book, medical malpractice book, unpublished, called MD A License to Kill. And it was about mind control murders done in patterns. And back then you couldn't Google mind control, so this was research that I did on my own. Larry Flint, which I've shown, he endorsed me in Hustler magazine, in which he told that they'd made a pauper out of me. And anyway, and that I knew who was responsible for his shooting in Lawrenceville, Georgia, March the 6th of 78. And the person that shot him and killed his attorney was programmed to do it. They're victims of mind control. Now then, I want to skip to, I literally have had antifreeze. I've had it all done to me. And not one person has been held responsible. And what's happened is after April 1st, 80, when antifreeze was put in me, I was carried across the state line illegally and worked for District Attorney Fred Simpson, Madison County, Huntsville, Alabama. That's NASA and all that there, Redstone Arsenal Command Center. But what I want to get to was after then I literally was put on the street side of the road. I came to Roanoke, Virginia, I think it was the 20th of October of 86. And I lived on the Appalachian Trail, froze and starved, and up and down the highway in the snow and sleet and you name it. But what I wanted to say was I am allergic to chemicals. I have a immune disorder. And when I am around certain fumes and odors, my immune system attacks itself. And it causes, and especially over a long period of time, it causes mass inflammation, which deteriorates your whole body. And the very medicine you take to counteract it can knock out your kidneys and etc. But it can take out your lungs, your kidneys, your heart, your all your organs, vital organs or organs. So over the years, I've been force-fed that my environment is toxic, kept toxic. And I put that on the other videos because the agency and law enforcement, and they are law enforcement that's doing this to me, they're also doing the mind control murders that's deliberately been put in patterns. And they get stuff on people. Everybody has something to hide. You got the FBI that is the highest law enforcement in the country. And they're in what are they doing in England? They have an office in England, okay? But not necessarily am I pointing this at them. It's the people, the American people that did this to me and allowed it to happen. Anyway, I'm going to skip to the rest because I'm just being redundant trying to get people to pick up on what I'm saying. The law enforcement involved has gotten things on whether it's where I live, like as if I'm able to get an apartment, which I really, it's more like a room, but they get things on the people that own it. And some of them participate just because they don't care. It's a joke that this has been done to me. And the room is toxic. They always fix the ventilation or the air conditioning heating unit to where it's putting out toxic fumes. And at places I have gone, I've been freight affordable. This is one of them. They have several here. This is just one, owned by Lance Cooperman. But my point is that over the years I've tried to leave. This man's become wealthy. He owns a bunch of them. And he's done the same thing over and over. Had his people because they get stuff on him. They get stuff on some of his employees. And I'll just say this is what's been done in all of it to get people. They compromise because they choose to. Just because law and order threatens them and gets them to do things to me that's assault and every law broken in the book, it's not right. It's not been prosecuted, but it's not right. It's breaking the law anyway. So at one point, I'll just give this as an example. A couple of young kids, well, they're about 13, I think, 14, came up on the Roanoke, Fullerton, where I was camped a few years ago, and they told me that I've forgotten exactly how it went, whether it was one of the kids or a relative had gotten caught out at, I think they call it Hunter, it's a lean-to out at North Creek Campground. And if the rangers got something on the person they were talking about, and if they didn't do something, help them do something to me, then they would prosecute it. And this goes on and on, just that one scenario by law enforcement. This has happened a lot of times. So here I want to say this. I was run, I'd stayed 14 months, I believe it was, at the Quality Inn. And then they sold out to the people where I'm at now, are relatives of theirs. And I'm in a living hell. I've had, I don't know, they've taken my money, and if I pay for a month, then I may be gone the next day. I've been paying for a week here. And I couldn't even get out this morning. I paid them rent yesterday, and I'm so sick I can't stand it. It's vertigo and everything. I don't know the damage done. But my point is, this is the name Debbie McKay. She was brought into Corporate Suites, and this is at Lakeside in Salem. And this is the letter that she sent me. But before she sent this letter, I was in her office, and she said, "I'm sorry." And I thought, what's she apologizing? She turned the computer around and showed me, she says, "This is a picture of my daughter in her prom dress. Her name is Alexis." And then she inferred that, in other words, she had been threatened with her daughter Alexis would be abducted and, as far as they know, killed, like Alexis Murphy. Now, this is the following is what she did to me. Her and Beth, a new girl I'd never met, come in and they soaked, every week they soaked the apartment in chemicals. And they sent me this letter, and I've never been late on my rent one day. This is what they made up. Some of it, it's not true. Let me say this. They said that I have a life-threatening situation because I have an immune disorder. To comply with a request, I offered to pay for supplies with it to clean with that were not toxic. So this is lies, and then your OSHA, where they said that OSHA has nothing, they weren't against me, OSHA's not. They would be the same standards like where I'm at now. They don't clean in here. They come in and just wipe it down. So everybody has done what the law told them to kill me is exactly it. So I had to leave here because they wrote me a letter May the 22nd, 2014. And I don't know if she's still manager or not. But her name is Debbie McKay, and that's what she said when she showed me her daughter. And by the way, there's another thing that's involved here, and I'm in enough trouble for telling the truth. Just before I left, she did a thing about Bath, which is Bath County here. And there was a state senator, I believe he was senator, and I'm going to leave it at that because enough people want me dead for telling the truth. Now, she was the one that did the role-playing with that just before I left. So I'm sitting here, and I'm 75 years old. I can hardly walk.